Stay standing. We're doing a wonderful song by our very own Jen Stackpole. Woo! Let's give it up. Let's shine. I'm ready to shine, ready to spread my wings and fly. I'm ready to dance like no one can see me move. I'm ready to love like no one's hurt me before. I'm ready to shine. Now it's my time to soar. Let's do that again. I'm ready to shine, ready to spread my wings and fly. I'm ready to dance like no one can see me move. I'm ready to love like no one's hurt me before. I'm ready to shine. Now it's my time to soar. Let's take some time and say hello to the people around you. I'm ready to shine, 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 shine. I'm ready to shine, 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 shine. I'm ready to shine, 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 shine. I'm ready to shine. Yeah, I'm ready to shine, ready to spread my wings and fly. I'm ready to dance like no one can see me move. I'm ready to love like no one's hurt me before. I'm ready to shine. Now it's my time to soar. I'm ready to shine.
Woo! The Shining Trio. Woo! Thanks, girls, ladies, whatever we say. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley. My name is Reverend Arpad, and I welcome you here today. To all those light bearers out in the room and on the TV. Welcome. You know, we're a trans-denominational community, and what that means is that we honor all spiritual beliefs, all paths to God. We're also a community that believes in miracles. Yeah, you believe? You know, the Dodgers won. That's a miracle. And now we're working on the Rams, so maybe they could get their act together, God. So welcome. So I'd like you to join me as we continue our little clam bake here this morning. And we're going to read the Flames of Faith, which is kind of encompasses all religious beliefs, all religious practices, and all ways to God. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony, equilibrium, and the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by a sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as a path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring that path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as Bonnie, our beloved practitioner this morning, lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here today. God is everywhere. And if you would join me in 2 minutes of silence and just relax, take a breath, close your eyes.
Let's take a moment to think one thought of gratitude. For me, it's that the center is here and exists. And as each person has their own heartfelt sense of gratitude for something special to them, I invite you to join me in centering for a moment and in knowing that there is only the Divine One. Some call it God, some call it Allah. It is called by many names, but we know it as the one divine Spirit. And there is no place where this Spirit is not. And remembering that, I know that this Divine One is beauty, it is love, it is wisdom. And these qualities express themselves here through each and every beloved through our musicians, our ministers, our practitioners, our volunteers. This also is on my gratitude list. And keeping in mind that each of us influence our own world and the world around us. We are influencers, whether we know it or not, because our thoughts are always responded to by the divine with the words, "Yes, my beloved." So I am so grateful for this beauty that expresses through our musicians, the wisdom of our ecumenical body, and the love that is immediately palpable once you enter the doors. And I know that these qualities go with each of us as we leave the sanctuary and go about our week. So please join me to anchor this prayer by saying, "And so it is." Please join me in reading our global vision. We see a world that works for all, where people live according to spiritual truth, where unity and connection is emphasized, where people have enough food, homes, and a sense of belonging, and where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all. Today's affirmation, please join me. God is my abundant source and supply, and so it is.
All right. Thanks, Bonnie. A little songbird told me that this person can dance besides sing. So, would you please welcome Jen Stucco? Yay.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Awesome. Yes, that's what I like to hear. I don't know about you all, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I've had a little bit of a bumpy couple of weeks. And when Karen asked if I would sing today, I was like, what am I going to sing? What am I going to sing? And I said, I decided I wanted to be reminded of one of my own songs because the song is titled Love. I've seen a lot of things that do not appear to be love lately, and I just wanted to be reminded of it. So I'm going to teach you the chorus. It's very simple. And then, yes, I have a high expectation set that you are all going to sing it with me. I promise it's easy, no stress. So the chorus goes, it all comes down to love. Love, love, sweet love. It all comes down to love. When you hear the chorus, just let it roll a couple times, and when you're ready, I want to hear you sing with me. Don't want to close my heart, don't want to feel shut down, don't want to lose my openness. I fight with letting go, trying times make us grow. We need to keep our willingness to see the beauty in the pain, to feel the sunshine through the rain, to watch the flowers start to grow. And through it all we need to know it all comes down to love, 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 sweet love. It all comes down to love. It all comes down to love, 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 sweet love. It all comes down to love. I see the pain you're in, patience is wearing thin. Your faith has left without a trace, but just keep moving on, and before too long you'll see a world that's full of grace. You'll see the watch those flowers start to grow. And through it all, you'll start to know it all comes down to love, 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 sweet love. It all comes down to love. It all comes down to love, 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 sweet love. It all comes down to love. I'm not saying that life is always easy, but I know it doesn't have to be so hard. We're in this together, and I want you to know that love is really all that we are. Love, 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 sweet love. It all comes down to love. It all comes down to love, 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 sweet love. It all comes down to love. All we need is love, 'cause all we are is love. All we need is love, 'cause all we are is love. It all comes down to love, 'cause all we are is love. Thank you. Great job, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you, band, and thank you, songbirds. You really get us in the mood, don't they? Let's give them another hand. Oh, good morning, everyone. And grand rising. We've been saying that all year long. That is our annual theme. Our annual theme is this idea that we really start off each day rising grandly, knowing who we are, remembering who we are, starting our day from that place of principle. And this week actually this whole month, we're talking about abundance. So I'm going to invite everyone to stand. All right. And I'm going to invite you to just move around. Move your arms, move your legs, kick your feet, wiggle your you-know-what. All right. And take a deep breath. And you may be seated. Now, I know if we'd had Jen Stackpole do the dance move, it might have been a little more coordinated. But for my purposes, I wanted us to move our bodies for a moment, because there's a lot going on in the world, and things get stuck in our body temples, and a little action like that, just standing up, maybe you're at your desk for several hours and things are challenging for you, or maybe you get off the phone with a challenging phone call with a loved one, maybe you've got a bill you didn't expect. Stand up and move around for a moment and let the energy shift so that you can be available for what wants to move through you. Because what I know about spirit is it is constantly in motion through all life. And when we get all clenched and, things get very tight within us, well, we're stopping the flow. And so that's abundance. That's our abundance. Oh, loaves and fishes. Well, it's actually loaves and fishes. We're missing an A in there. But and so I hope you're still giggling, Mary, because loaves and fishes work, right? Loaves and fishes work. I like it. Before I get to that, I was really called to pull out Emma Curtis Hopkins. We've been studying, we being the practitioners and ministers, have been studying Ruth Miller's interpretation of scientific Christian mental practice, and it's called raising, releasing something. Huh? Unveiling, right. And so we've been reading that, and unveiling your hidden power. Here it is right at the top of my paper. Uh, and, um, and so I pulled it out this week because it's been a bit of a challenging week for me. I've got sometimes I feel like a juggler, and this week it felt like somebody threw me a couple extra pins for my juggling job. So I was a little off balance for a bit, and I pulled this out, and she has a lesson for each month, and lesson 9, which was back in September that we studied, was holiness and right discernment. Holiness and right discernment. And I love what she said in that chapter, because it wasn't about the discernment, whatever it is that you were discerning. It wasn't about the opinion, it wasn't about the point of view, but it was about the process we use for right discernment. And so as I reread some of this chapter, in it she talks about asking us where we feel our identity is. Do we have our identity wrapped up in the world? Do we have our identity wrapped up in ourself? Or do we feel grounded in spirit? Because when we're grounded in spirit, that's when we can really get a real, true sense of who we are and what's ours to do, and the whatever we're trying to discern becomes clearer. And right in the beginning of the chapter, she has this little subsection, no accusations. And I really like that, because I think there's a lot of accusations going around right now, and they are equal opportunity accusations. And all that means is that everybody's kind of blaming and shaming, and it's your fault, it's her fault, it's his fault, it's their fault. And what Emma says about accusations, I think, is really poignant here, because she says that when we're trying to come to right or holiness and right discernment, when we're trying to come to that place, it's not about our bias or our opinions. And when we find ourselves in a place of accusation, we get lost in that. And I'm just going to read a sentence here where she says, accusations come from mistaken ideas, which she calls prejudices. And I would say bias, because prejudice is a little bit of a loaded word. But you get bias. It's like, if you're a hammer, everything you see is a nail. So that's all bias is. It's when you have a bias towards a certain lens on things, that's how you're going to see everything. And so she goes on to say, accusations come from mistaken ideas, and I'll call them bias. They do not emanate from the one mind. Bias against a religion act, against one's business judgment, against health, against another person, are likely because they've hit one's business affairs. And bias against alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs are equally limiting. And she goes on to talk about thoughtful people ground themselves in spirit. They look at where they have identified themselves in the bias, and they come back to that place of spirit. Because what I can tell you about the philosophy that we teach here is that it has no party affiliation. It has no gender identity. It has no sexual orientation. It really is just love, and wants to express in whatever gateway we give it through our own individuated godliness, if you will, our own godly expression. And so that's my little tidbit with what's going on in the world and how that might help you as you walk the path of holiness and right discernment. We're talking today about the story of the master teacher and the loaves and fishes. The loaves and fishes. And I think most of us might have some semblance of knowing that story. And And I'll just remind you of it. The master teacher Jesus and the apostles decide to get off the boat in a lake and go to kind of a place that's off the beaten path for some rest and reflection. And, their word gets out that this great speaker is going to be in this place, and people just in droves show up, and it's unexpected. And they bring their sick, and they can't wait to hear what he has to say. And so of course, Jesus obliges, and he teaches and talks to them about the kingdom of heaven as he knows it, as we know the kingdom of heaven is within. The Father and I are one, very similar principles to what we teach here in Centers for Spiritual Living. And so he teaches, and he preaches, and he heals. And it gets towards the end of the day, and he looks out and he gets a little concerned that people might be getting hungry. And so he calls out and, looks at their stores, and they don't have enough food to feed 5,000 people. And so he calls out and asks, what shall we feed this people? And this small boy comes up with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And so instead of turning to the apostles and saying, why didn't you bring enough food for all these people? And instead of saying, why didn't you bring your own, the food that you need for yourself? He doesn't do that. No, what does he do? He blesses what is given to him. He shows gratitude for it. He accepts it with open arms. And then he tells his apostles to trust, to have faith, and to begin to distribute the food to the masses. At some point, right before he gives thanks, he asks everyone to sit down on the ground. That's important because I'm gonna metaphysicize the story in a minute. So he invites everyone to sit down. He gives thanks for everything that is there for them to distribute. The apostles go to distribute the food. There's plenty for everyone. It's a miracle. How could this happen from 5 loaves and 2 fishes? And then when everyone is satiated and full and their bellies are full, he asks them to go around and collect the excess. And they come back with 12 baskets full of bread and fishes. And so that's the biblical story of the loaves and fishes. And the thing I like about ancient truth when it comes through, whether it's the Bible or the Torah or some of the other sacred texts, is that it's usually, there's some layers in there that we get to look at. And so when we look at this story, what that whole story represents is first that Jesus is sharing spiritual nourishment with the crowds. The crowds that come forward, he freely gives spiritual nourishment to them. And when he begins to make sure they're fed, he asks them to sit on the ground, and that represents the opportunity that we have to ground ourselves before we have to do something that feels a little impossible, right? So the masses sit on the ground, and then when the 5 loaves and 2 fishes come forward, he immediately blesses it. He moves into a place of gratitude for what he has. He moves into a place of knowing that there's always enough. And so we have this with grounding ourselves in spiritual truth, getting ourselves centered, knowing that despite what we see with our mortal eyes, there's going to be enough. And then he doesn't say, okay, good, we got our food, you guys take care of yourself. No, he doesn't just eat the loaves and fishes. He immediately turns around and gives what he has. Now, for the skeptics in the room, my guess is that people brought food with them, right? People don't go on a long trip, especially in that day and age, without some stores. So my guess is that people brought food with them. And this act of generosity, this act of giving of what he had, incited people and inspired people to give of what they had. So even though there may have been one family that didn't bring enough and one family that brought plenty, there was enough for everyone. And the miracle isn't this magical thinking idea that two fish suddenly the molecular structure, shifted and they became, many fish, but that the act of generosity and gratitude expanded everyone's heart so that there was enough for everyone, so that everyone could be in the mindset and the heart space to give themselves. And that's really how this prosperity, abundance topic that we're talking about works. It really works from an expansion of our heart and our minds. And when we get into those little places where it's like there's not enough, there's some kind of limitation, when we allow ourselves to box ourselves into a place like that, well, of course we're not going to be able to see what is ours to do next. I think one of the most challenging practices that I do in this teaching, in this philosophy, is surrendering. And usually when I have to surrender, I'm gonna guess, because I don't really know. We don't know whether it's just a mythological story, whether there's any truth to it. We'll never know. But I'm gonna guess that Jesus, the master teacher, as he had these huge crowds, had to surrender to a power greater than himself, that he trusted, that he knew was the source of all life, was going to meet the needs of the time. And yet, in this day and age, when I can run out to the store and get whatever I need, because I have the means to do that, it's a little harder sometimes for me to surrender. It's a little harder for me to know when that time is for me to just trust. I don't know if you'll relate to this. I've got this little bread baking thing going on this month. I'm baking bread. I gave you an opportunity of people who wanted to pledge about 15% more than they did last year, that I would, if you gave us more bread, I would bake you bread. So I have this little bread machine, and it stopped kneading the bread. It no longer kneads it for me. Kneading is when the purpose of kneading the bread is to get the air out of it so that it's compressed enough to hold together. So it stopped doing that. And not only that, I needed to make a loaf of pumpernickel bread for somebody who requested it, and I only had a half a cup of rye flour. Now, had I practiced what I preached, I might have just surrendered at that moment. But damn, I was going to make this bread. So the first thing I had to do was get enough rye flour, because I'm making pumpernickel. I went to 5 grocery stores. Every single one was completely out of rye flour. I only had a half a cup at home. And so I did surrender, and I came home, and I decided to look up how to make bread without a machine. And I used what I had, and I kneaded the bread dough myself, and figured out, I learned how I could bake it this morning, and there's some of it's left up on the table there. But my point is that as human beings who are pretty resourced, I'll just talk about this community. Most of us have a pretty decent amount of resources, and sometimes, at least enough to take care of ourselves and our immediate people around us, and sometimes it gets a little bit challenging to know when to let go and trust and just roll forward. Sometimes, I think, I got to try this and I got to try that, and I could have saved a lot of gas and a lot of time last night if I had just surrendered on the front end. And surrendering is symbolic for me when in that story of the loaves and fishes of when he asked the masses to sit on the ground, to sit in the grass and prepare to be fed. He just surrendered the whole idea knowing there would be enough. Are you tracking with me as I share this metaphor of the loaves and the fishes? There really is. There are studies and researchers have done a lot of work, looked at the resources on the planet, looked at what we have to offer for human beings, and there are studies that say there is enough water and food and resources for every one of the 8 billion people on the planet. It's not showing up that way, is it? We got some people who have a lot. We have some people that don't have enough. And part of, some of us feel like we really have to help those that don't have enough. And some of us who feel like, well, they should figure out how to do that themselves. We're all over the place on this. And at some point, I'm pretty close. At some point, when I look at what's going on in the public think and the group think, I think, where do I surrender, and then what's mine to do? Because there really is enough. Because God is always sourcing us. This is what I know about spirit. It shows up as each one of us. It resources life through each one of us. And so when we can ground ourselves, we'll know what our part is to surrender and then walk it out, whatever it is. I did surrender the bread, but I still made some bread. And it was actually quite enjoyable to knead the dough and let it rise and then knead it again. I hadn't had that experience before. And it was very centering for me. And it only came because I finally surrendered. It only came because I finally let go. Let's see. As I was looking at this story of the loaves and fishes, last week we talked about the global theme, the global vision, and we read that, and we did a nice ritual to really ground ourselves with our values. And so I was looking at our principles, and that story of the loaves and fishes, or love and fishes, you choose. And I found two of the declarations of principles. These are the principles that our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote down in the 1927 Science of Mind magazine when someone asked him, what does Science of Mind, what are the principles behind Science of Mind? And so two of them, I think, are very appropriate here. The first one is, we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. And what that means is that the fluidity of spirit is forever moving, and it doesn't embody me or you and then just stop there. It doesn't get totally absorbed by the things that it creates. It keeps moving through us. This goes on to say the manifest universe is the body of God. We are the body of God. This planet is the body of God. The solar system is the body of God. Your family members are the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. The second principle that I thought was very dovetailed nicely with the story about abundance and loaves and fishes was, we believe in the eternality and immortality and continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. Forever and ever expanding. So these principles that we teach that sometimes sound like a lot of flowery words really do have present-day applications when we find ourselves in the world witnessing what we witness. Maybe you have an accusation or two. I know I have. Maybe you're challenged about a couple of things, but there's always a movement of spirit through all life. It only knows how to pour itself into life, and then if you allow it, it'll move through you. And you can be the hands of God or the feet of God. Maybe it's the lips or the heart of God. Like each one of us has that opportunity. And so as we find ourselves in this place where things don't feel the same, right? Because there's a lot of change going on. When things don't feel the same, when we feel like there's not enough, when we have, one of my minister friends calls it, when we get caught up in fear porn. Fear porn, and that's when we start recycling the things that we're concerned about. When we get caught up in that, it's like that day next to the lake when Jesus said, sit down in the grass while I bless what we have, and there will be plenty. And then once we ground ourselves, once we remembered, he didn't wait until the food showed up for the 5,000. He blessed it before it showed up. And then he knew what was theirs to do. And that's the moral of the story I want you to take with you this week, that there is something for you to do. There is something that wants to show up as you. I think what we're really being called to right now as a philosophy and as a spiritual movement is to really know the truth of this idea that God is always sourcing itself through each one of us, and that we're being called to know that truth and then to walk the talk wherever we go. We're called to ground ourselves in our principles and our values. We're called to give thanks for what we have right in front of us so that we can bless it and it'll multiply. I give thanks for this philosophy every day. It reminds me for all the time when I get lost in my little accusations and fear porn, I have these principles and these values to bring me back to center. And then we're called to give from the overflow, because I guarantee you, if you ground yourself, if you remember these principles, if you give great thanks for what it is that you have, it will multiply. It will multiply, and it will move out into the earth by means of each one of us. That is our call this week as we continue to navigate, whatever this is that we're navigating. So we continue to move through it. What I know is it's all love. And it will expand when we allow ourselves to embrace it. Thank you very much. And so we do this little thing called affirmative prayer. And so I'm going to go ahead and give us a prayer this morning. And so if you'll just be in that receptive place, maybe close your eyes like the masses. Just, if you will, just sit in the grass in your mind and know that we are blessed. We are blessed by the love that we have for each other. We are blessed by the givingness of the divine that pours itself into life. We are blessed by our willingness to continue to allow that flow to move through our body temples, to move through our heart, to move through our mind. And we don't have to do it by ourselves. No, we are divinely connected with the one. The one mind, the one heart, the divine pattern of life that has emanated into 8 billion people. And for the most part, that's 16 billion hands and 16 billion feet. And what I know is that each one of us is beautifully endowed with this gift for life, to give ourselves to it, to give to each other, to give to ourselves and our family, and to give to our neighbor. That all of that is a divine invitation to see God, to be God, to express God, to know that there is always enough, even when we can't see it. And so the invitation this week is to ground ourselves in this blessed truth, to be grateful for what it is that we know, and then to share it freely, to be that light when others can't see it, to know this highest truth, and to accept this calling to be the expansive expression of the one life as each one. So I give thanks for this. I surrender this word. I know this highest truth for each one, as we simply anchor this truth in prayer by saying together, and so it is. And now I want to bring up the wonderful Jen Stackpole. Thank you.
Well, I love it when the song after the talk actually dovetails perfectly. Had no idea what you're going to speak about today. The song that I'm about to do is a song called Little Voice, and it's by Sarah Bareilles. And it's when you said, when do I surrender and what is mine to do? This song absolutely speaks to that. And before I start, can you guys please give this incredible band another round of applause, as well as Josh in the back for sound, making us sound amazing. Thank you so much. And this is Little Voice. It's everything I am and what I'm not and all I'm trying to be. This is the part where I spit it all out. You decide what you think of me. I'm not trying to be complicated. I'm never waiting to get the last laugh. But I've been handing out benefits of the doubt, and I'd like a little bit back. It's just a little voice, and if you're listening, sometimes that little voice can say the biggest things. Sometimes my little voice is what I'm missing. Looking over the precious moments, it hurts, don't it? They can cut both ways. No amount of remembering the better things will make the bad ones go away. But I've been broken and the one to blame. So my savior of self-defense taught me to sing what I can't say. It's just a little voice, and if you're listening, sometimes that little voice can say the biggest things. It's just my little voice that I've been missing. I will be loud, I'm coming out to tell you words are not enough. I will be loud, I'm coming out to tell you noise is not enough. I will be loud, I'm coming
Bravo. I'll give her another hand. Come on. And give the band another hand. These guys are awesome. Well, now it's time for our offering. And if this is your time to give, great. If it's not your time to give, great. So, if you could read with me our affirmation, our prosperity affirmation, which says, oh, come on, ushers. You got plenty of time to get here. All right, one more. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply and symbolizes my faith in the eternal love of this supply. And so it is.
Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your love will light the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your joy will light the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your peace will light the way. Nam 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 namaste. Nam 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 namaste. Nama 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 namaste. Nam 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 namaste. Nam 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 namaste. Nama 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 namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, God. Thank you for all the gifts that we receive. Thank you for offering us the ability to prosper, to be abundant, to be loving, and to give. We say thank you, God, for we are blessed. And so it is. All right. All right. Do we have any guests here? You know, I forgot to. Oh, sorry. Come back. I forgot to thank these two songbirds. No, you guys. So I'm not going to forget them. All right. So, do we have any guests here for the first time? Second time? Third time? All right. So, everybody's a regular. I love it. All right. What? I missed it. Okay. All right. So, we have no guests. Anyone volunteer this week? Well, if you did, stand up. Be recognized. We have 3 practitioners today who, if you need your miracle mile. Cheryl? Patrick, I think, yes? Oh, he's back in the back. And there's one more person. Bonnie. Oh, my God, how can I forget Bonnie? If you need a miracle, you need a mile, you need to change your life, see one of these 3 practitioners afterwards and let them know what's going on. It's really important you talk to somebody. Okay. The bun dancer herself.
All right, so we got to time that better.
That's my go-to.
All right. Woo! So we have a couple of invitations for you. Conscious Connections will meet at noon today, noon-ish today in the multipurpose room. It's a great opportunity to really reflect on the ideas that were talked about today during the service and the talk. We also have yoga classes. Mike, could you stand up, please? Mike is our yoga teacher. Thank you, Mike. He's here on Monday evening and Tuesday morning if you would like to do yoga. He does gentle yoga. It's really lovely. The book of the month is Think and Grow Rich. We've been putting this in our newsletter, little snippets from the book. We have one copy of the book left in the bookstore if you're interested, and it really is a 30-day experiment in shameless gratitude and unabashed joy. And it's an opportunity to help move your mind to the place that you want it to be in order to have that expansive experience of gratitude. And it's not Think and Grow Rich. That's Napoleon Hill. This is Pamela Grout's book, Thank and Grow Rich. And it's not just about money. It's about expanding your consciousness. So, follow me on Facebook. I'm posting things daily. We're on day 17. Let's see, mark your calendar for next Wednesday. We are having our wonderful Thanksgiving Eve Today service. We'll have the theme is connection, and you're invited to bring a dessert, and it's a wonderful time to have fellowship, ritual, music, practice, and to really be in a space of shared community. If you've never been to a Today service, I highly recommend it. It'll be at 7 p.m. Our holiday boutique and brunch has been moved from the first Sunday to the 15th, and that is so that we could, we didn't realize the first Sunday was Thanksgiving weekend. That doesn't happen too often, so we've moved it to the 15th. And so we'll be celebrating the community through a holiday brunch, and we'll also be exhibiting some of our arts vendors who will have some wares to share with you. And if you're a vendor and you want to have some arts and crafts, please see our creative arts minister, and that's Karen. And then in December, we'll have, of course, our usual celebration of the return of the light that is recognized by so many faiths. Today, there are some sunflowers on the sanctuary stage, and they are in honor of Reverend Karen's birthday this week. We like to honor our staff's birthdays. Happy birthday, darling. But don't say anything to her. She doesn't like extra attention. So we do have a candle lighting on Christmas Eve. That will be on a Tuesday at 5 p.m. That, too, will be we'll do some ritual and community together. And then we have our usual offerings, right? The small groups. It's the Wednesdays with Mary and the Book Study, Christian Steele's meditation on Wednesday evenings, Shifting Sands Thursday morning, which is hybrid, and then Fridays, Coming Home, Awakening the Spirit with Joyce Fournier. So there's something to do here every day of the week. Don't tell me you're bored. I think that's it for the invitations. Thank you so much, and let's bring our songbirds back up to close the service.
All right, let's stand. Sing together. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a brand new start. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a change in my heart. Everything I need, I now receive, and it's done to me as I believe. Right here, right now, where I am. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make
Know with me now, all there is love sweets love, and so it is.